Hello, everybody, and this is our third show of the day, so sorry for getting a little bit overdone, but welcome back again to another Atlanta Sports All-Around podcast. I'm your host, Blake Newsom, along with my co-host, Connor Quinn, and this is our first episode of the Atlanta Gladiators hockey show, and part of it is to help bring an NHL team fueled back to Atlanta. And Connor, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fine, and we were used to be Thrasher season ticket holders, fun facts about us. So we're ready to get this show rocking and rolling and hopefully keep it going to rally a new team to Atlanta, especially with, didn't Las Vegas get a team? So with Las Vegas getting a team, we should hopefully be a 32nd place. So now Las Vegas has got two teams coming to town, the Raiders and a new NHL team. What a good job for them. But anyway, take it away, Connor.
All right, so the Gladiators, the last game that they played, they won 5-4 in overtime against the Norfolk Admirals. The next game is tomorrow night, April 5th at 7:05 is pumped off. Carolina Stingrays. The points in the record is 26 wins, 35 losses, and they have lost 2 shootouts this year. But what do you have to say about that?
I mean, from this team 3 or 4 years ago, this is not really, as we said right before we started the show, this is not really the team as they were as good as they were last year's. I mean, Greenville, back when they were called the Road Warriors and not the Swamp Rabbits, they were their only trouble in the division. Because other than that, this team was young. Andy Brandt, now their coach, was the top player on the team, the captain. Then they lost their coach. A few players went up to AAA and the Bruins, and this team has pretty much gone downhill since then.
What was that, Blake?
Did you hear me? Sorry, guys, we're having technical difficulties. So, do you want me to summarize again?
Oh, what was that again? I'm sorry, Blake.
I said that basically, I'll summarize it. This team's gone downhill the last 3 or 4 years with Andy Brandt, now the coach instead of the captain. They've lost some players to AAA and NHL, and this team is really not as good as they were 3 or 4 years ago.
So,
what are my thoughts on it? Those are my thoughts. Hold on, let me pause this. Alright, sorry guys, we're back on. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. I'm in Panama City Beach, Florida. Connor's in Phoenix, Arizona. It's late at night. He's near the Grand Canyon. We're having thunderstorms here, so we're not in the best situation to do this podcast right now, so that's why we're having technical difficulties. But anyway, we're back, and continue, Connor.
Yeah, so I think that the roster for the Gladiators is the way it is. Our league system with the players. I'm not really sure who their AAA team is because the Gladiators are technically a AA team for hockey in the Bruins organization. And I think they have some inexperienced players. But what are your ideas, of why that is?
What is your full question? What my idea of what?
Yeah, your idea of why, how they're struggling this season.
I mean, this team isn't really, going back towards my last question, this team really hasn't been as good since they've lost a lot of those players to, especially when Andy Brandt left, and then he eventually quickly came back to be a head coach who's still very young. He could probably gave up his career to coach his team that he was playing for and got a new haircut, and he's ready to go, but he really hasn't been performing as well as he should be from a team that was winning 50, 55, 60 games a year out of their schedule a few years ago is now struggling to win 30, 35.
Yeah.
You there?
Yes, I'm here.
So, what are your thoughts on how?
Well, I think I agree a lot with what you said about their schedule, and there are some like, you know how kind of like in baseball, like with the Braves organization, where it has AAA and they're one of the best, like right now with the organization.
Mm-hmm.
We had a show yesterday, last night, about how the minor league system was one of the best, and that was basically about opening day, but that was also like another aspect of how they'll become, how they have a bright future ahead of them.
As they say, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but how do you think the Gladiators are going to get there? I mean, I was looking at the roster, they have a few 30-plus-year-old players, 30-year-old plus players on the roster in the AA Hockey League that might not make it. Do you think they should make some do you think they should make some trades for the younger players, or do you think they should just keep what they need or keep what they want?
Well, keep in mind how they're just kind of like developing like the Gwinnett Braves are, and they're just trying to get prepped for the NHL with the Boston Bruins. And I think the goal isn't exactly to win, but it's to kind of improve. But winning in that stage will definitely help them in the pros.
To be honest, though, winning the Kelly Cup which is the AA trophy, would look good on your roster when they give you the first contract for the NHL, winning it down there or in free agency in the future. But with 30-year-old players or teams that are players that they've had on their roster for 2, 3, 4 years straight, doesn't look like this team is really moving anywhere. They're not going forward. Well, thankfully, they're not moving backward, but they're not really a consistent team, but they're a consistent team at a level to where they're not contending.
Yes, I agree with that in many different ways about how, like how I said about the development of their goal, trying to reach back to NHL style and talent. And I think that over the next few years, you will see the improvement of this team, and hopefully will draw more fans and potentially bring back another NHL team to the city.
And another point to bring up, now with them having to rebattle for some of their fans with the new team, which shout out to our other show, the Swarm and Blaze lacrosse show that we have, with now the Georgia Swarm playing in the same arena, Infinite Energy, in Duluth and Gwinnett, or on the border between the cities or counties. They're having a battle for fans between that fan base, and
it's very popular there. The Georgia Swarm are going very popular. They've only been here for, I think, about 2 years.
Yeah, this is their second season.
They moved from Minnesota. They used to be the Minnesota Swarm, I believe.
Yes.
And they moved here, and everyone is loving it. It's pretty popular in the area. And I think over the next few years, it'll become one of the major sports.
And the Swarm are a very young team that is consistent. They're getting great players that are producing every night of their games, and it just seems to me that this is getting off track here, but the arena fans, I mean, they're a lot of passionate and rowdy Gladiators fans out there, especially the ones I've met. But they're great fans, but they're really not selling out as much. One reason is Atlanta. Maybe it's sad but true that it's not really a hockey city, as many people say. And
I know a lot of people think, like, when the Thrashers moved to Winnipeg back in 2011, like, everyone was like, oh, Atlanta's not so warm and all that and stuff. And the thing to kind of prove that Atlanta is a hockey city, because I know if some of you have noticed why fans chant, like during the national anthem, they chant Knights.
Knights, yep.
Yeah, the Atlanta Knights.
Because they were a AAA team. They chanted it because we're losing connection again with Connor, but they chanted because of that used to be a team that used to play. But they played in the era in between the Flames and the Thrashers. But yeah, Connor, you there? Connor, we're sorry, guys. Sorry, everybody. We're back on. We're still having technical difficulties, but we'll work through it. And Connor's back. And sorry, this show will have better quality. We promise. It's just he's in Grand Canyon National Park, and there's pretty much no service. There's Panama City. We're not having the best service right now either because it's raining outside. Not the best Wi-Fi in the condo association. So sorry about that. But once we get back in Atlanta, we promise there'll be better quality to come. So, finish what you were saying about the Knights, Connor?
So yeah, like you were before we got cut off with all the everything with the service. The Atlanta Knights tradition, of course, started when there's the International Hockey League. They played at the Omni, which is where the Atlanta Flames played before they moved to Calgary.
Yep.
And they shared their arena with the Atlanta Hawks, which of course will now play at Phillips Arena. That's where the Thrashers played.
And so did the Atlanta Dream, which is another team that we'll be covering with the Hawks.
About them, And also, that's pretty much it. But and the way that hockey means to the city without an NHL franchise is huge, because the reason why they probably don't go to Gladiators games is because of it's just kind of out there in the Duluth area. That's near kind of Swanee-ish. That's where I live.
I mean, it's really nowhere near Atlanta if you think about it. It's with traffic. It's quite a while away.
And no one's gonna really travel there to see an ECHL team that no one really knows that much about. In NHL, everyone knows that NHL is probably go to.
And if you think about it, the Georgia Swarm, who also play there, which I already mentioned, they are not a minor league team. They are the full number one level, and they are also the it's a rising sport over in the Duluth area. It's very popular. A lot of kids play it over there. My friends play it, and where my dad lives over in the Johns Creek area. So, yeah, I mean, I agree. And not many people know about the Gladiators, to be honest. It's just out there. And people, like a lot of adults know about them, but parents that haven't had a hockey team in a while.
They're not gonna take the time to go out there and just see a game. They're not even an NHL caliber team because they're just a minor league system for the Boston Bruins.
And nobody really likes Boston right now, especially with the Super Bowl 51 loss. But let's not talk about that. But anyway, it's just not many people are motivated to take their kids, even if they play hockey, to go see a Gladiators game. It's just in their mind that hockey is just non-Atlanta right now.
Yep. So, NHL would be a lot better.
Yep. And your next topic, Connor?
Well, I don't really have anything right now, but is there anything you'd like to add?
It's just, I hope this one, we'll just start talking about the Thrashers more and how the NHL should come back to Atlanta. So, as you say, you want to say some of your connections?
Go ahead.
You can go first. What are your connections to the Thrashers and how to get an NHL team back?
Yeah, and I had a connection to the rapper Lil Jon, who was a big Thrashers fan. He was also a season ticket holder. My dad has a friend who is next to his neighbors with him, and I've been trying to contact him to maybe help us out and some other people to bring an NHL caliber team back and have a good put a good product on the ice, so it will draw more fans and create more revenue.
Bring back the ice to A-Town. Start that tag around everybody. Bring back the ice to A-Town. And we, as Connor and I were both season ticket holders to the Thrashers, we might have saw each other, never know. We were probably little, which we were, and I was able to see the All-Star game. Connor wasn't, but I was able to see the All-Star game when it was in Phillips Arena that year. It was very fun. I was little. The only thing I didn't like about the Thrashers games were the goal horns. I mean, I was loud, but I was little.
I really liked the goal horn. I liked the goal song. It was like, woohoo. Yeah, I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I liked the sound. As I got older, I liked it, but it was just the honk that drive me crazy. And I was little, so I had sensitive ears, so I was like, no. But, But yeah, they were fun times. I always thought the Thrashers were one of the best teams because I was little. For crying out loud, they won pretty much every time I went. So
and they had some of the best jerseys, if we do so say.
I know. I love the red. I love the blue.
They had some of the coolest home jerseys.
Yeah, and they had the logo was cool. It was a little bit too detailed, I think, because you can look at it. It was if you look at it too long, it seems to be an optical illusion. because they have so much color.
It's a bird, like, with a hockey stick sticking out of its, like, wing.
Yeah, and then you see the other one of the blue bird. It looks like, I mean, like, what is that? I mean, they're cool logos and they're fierce, but it's just a little bit too detailed to me. I mean, do you want to talk something about the Flames?
If we do happen to bring the hockey team back to Atlanta, we might have to change the logo just a little bit, but keep it kind of a similar kind of thing to kind of bring back to the old tradition, but also maybe kind of tweak it a little bit.
But to also start new traditions to get people more fired up about it. I mean, who knows? We might, like the Hawks was changing back to their old Pac-Man-ish style logo a few years ago.
That drew so many more fans, and how the success came up to be back a few seasons ago when they had 60 wins.
Yes.
And they went to the Eastern Conference Finals to play the Cavaliers. Of course, they got swept. They lost the last year in the second round, but the way they improved was outstanding. Like, I was completely shocked how they went from
an 8 seed and 38 wins, the only 500 team in the playoffs, to winning the East and being the second best team in the NBA in the regular season.
And a few times during that season, a few years ago, they were the number one team in the NBA, and they were just remarkably good. And they came from just being just barely making the playoffs and losing the first round to going to the Eastern Conference Finals
for the first time ever. I mean, if Atlanta can get their hold back on the ice and try to do something like that, this could be marvelous.
I think Atlanta sports can be really good if we can just bring it all together and make it successful and make sure it is.
I mean, everybody wants a championship, and especially for Atlanta.
Well, so close to the Falcons winning the Super Bowl. I know you guys have heard this many times and are sick of hearing it, but I think that they're also improving, and the Braves, they have a bright future, and I think in the next 15, 20 years, I think we'll be back on track and hopefully get some championships under our belt.
Maybe not 15.
Anything you'd like to add?
Maybe 5-10 years, but one thing to say is the Hawks, to be honest, if you listened to our show earlier, we're getting really off topic here, but you really didn't know. They're a few steps away from being a contender, but to be honest, they don't know what they're doing. Are they a rebuilder or are they a contender? So keep in mind, to be honest, I don't know if the Hawks are confused what they're doing at this point, but trust the process, guys. I mean, we'll see what's going on. But, Atlanta's a great city. Not the best for sports, but we got a new soccer team.
Mostly known for college sports.
Yes.
But we're getting there with the pros.
And we've got a good soccer team coming out now, the Atlanta United.
Yeah, Atlanta United. They have shocked, I think, the whole entire city. The hot team to talk about in Atlanta currently, and the Hawks are with their struggles right now with Millsap just returning from injury.
And the Braves just starting.
He's going to be a free agent, but probably going to resign.
Yeah. And the Braves just starting a new season with after coming off a less than 71 season. As you said, the United is the hottest team to talk about right now. And hopefully that will continue if we get a hockey team back. Because I'd say the only two teams we're missing right now in Atlanta, we've got pretty much every sport covered except two holes. The hockey and the arena football. Arena football.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Georgia Force. They were a good team to watch as well.
I have arena football for my PS2. I don't play it that much, but my dad got me a PS2 when I was little. I never really played it until about a year ago when I realized they had an arena football game, but I like to play with the Force. And then on my Xbox 360, I have NHL 08, and I play with the Thrashers a lot on there, which is fun.
Yeah. I don't have NHL Live, but I really should get it, because as much hockey as I watch, I really should get into that.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening to the show. Do you have any other things that we should talk about or add, Connor?
I think we've covered it all. We'll be back with more information, and tomorrow the Braves are back at it with the New York Mets.
Bounce back.
I'm not sure what time first pitch is. Do you know, Blake?
Me either. We'll have to keep up with that. We probably should. I mean, this should be the bounce back game. Try to get our first win of the year and get on track and a good start.
Yeah, they were off today, but just kind of rest and regroup and ready to go back at tomorrow.
So thank you guys for listening. This is the All Around Atlanta Sports Podcast. This is the Gladiators and NHL comeback show. or whatever we called it. Thank you guys for listening again, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.